Hello and welcome to A Tinge Ginge. Now today I'm going to be doing a quick video on my Nano Reefer 350 that I've built myself. If you haven't seen this already, go back through my channel, look at my old videos, and it is well worth a look. I basically buy the tank and the sump, and then I literally make everything for it myself, from the stand to the filtration area to everything. So it's well worth checking out, having a look at. But it's been cycling for a while now, and I think it's to the point where I want to start adding stuff to it. So we're going to go down to my local shop, we're going to get some stuff to put in there, and hopefully it's just going to fill the tank out a little bit more, give it a little bit more life, and it's just going to make it a little bit more nice to look at. Also, I'm going to be doing a little 3D printing session. I want to print something I can just sift through the sand with, just if there's anything on the sand that I want to get rid of, I can just use a little rake to sort of push that around, move everything out of the way, and just try and clean the sand up a little bit. And it just makes it easier when I'm doing water changes, but I don't particularly want to put a siphon in there and siphon through the sand. So it's just going to help kick up all that stuff in the sand so that I can literally get the water out and do a water change. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. We're going to head straight down to the shop now. I'm going to try and get a little bit of footage in the actual shop itself. I don't know if you're allowed to film there, but I'm going to be doing it on my phone anyway, so hopefully I can get some footage of some of the stuff they've got and some of the things I might be looking at getting. And also, while I'm in the car driving down there, I'm actually going to be designing the little rake that I want for the sand on my iPad, and hopefully you can see that as well. So hope you enjoy, and I'll see you shortly. Okay, so this is the tank as it stands. You can see I have actually got a little green chromis in here. That was actually given to me by a friend who was shutting his tank down. He had just one little fish left, and he asked if I wanted it, and I thought, yeah, I'll just take it. I didn't record it because it's one of those things where I just wanted to get it in really quickly. So he's been in there for the last couple of weeks, and to be honest, he's been doing absolutely fine. The light on this I've only just turned on, but you can see the little piece of coral there, just where that actual coralline algae bed was. You know, I snapped a little piece of coralline algae out of my main tank and put it on there, and that was a single piece of what was it called, GSP, and you can see next to it there's another tiny little piece just starting to sprout up. So that's given me a sort of to get the heads up so I can put some more stuff in there. I have done the water checks on this and stuff like that, and to be honest, all the levels are completely fine, so I'm feeling a little bit more confident about putting stuff in there. So now we've got back from the shop, I'm going to start getting all this acclimated and actually show you what I've got. So this is what I've got in here. I've not actually got any fish today. I actually went to the shop to get a specific fish, and they didn't actually have them in stock. They're not getting them until about 2 weeks time, and they're going to be quarantined for about 10 days. So I've given them my number, so they should give me a call when they've got some in stock, so I will go down and get some of those. But I have bought some coral, and I bought a few other little bits just to help the tank sort of mature along a little bit, and just to try and help out with a little bit of algae I've got. If you see here, You see I've got a little bit of hair algae growing, so I've just got a few critters that are going to go in there and take care of that and just try and clean all that up. The rest of that is where I scraped the glass. You can see all those bits there. I scraped the glass the other day, and that's just what sort of collected from the glass. I do need to siphon those out, but I'm just going to do that on the next clean. And then when I do the water change as well, I'll take all that out. And you can see on there as well, there's a little bit of hair algae just growing on that shelf. If it will focus. Background's completely clean, which is good. So yeah, hopefully this should help out that little problem. So whenever I'm acclimating stuff, for the main tank I'll normally use the bags, but for this, because there's so much water in this, I don't want to risk the actual tank overflowing. So I'm actually going to put the contents of these bags into these little trays, and I'm just going to float them in the tank. I like doing it this way because you can sort of see what's going on with them, make sure then whatever you've got isn't getting stressed out too much. Fish, it's a bit of a problem because they can jump out, but to be honest I think they should be completely fine anyway. But I'm just going to open the bag up and pour the contents into there as best I can. In this bag we've got some inverts, so there's some turbo snails in there, I've got a little fire red shrimp in there, and there's a few other little bits in there, but I don't really think I'm going to put those into the main tank. Like some polyps and stuff, I don't really want them in the main tank, so I'm going to take them out. There's one little interesting colourful one, but I might just keep it in the 350, I'm not sure yet. And then in this bag here we've got a piece of coral. I'm hoping it's going to do well. I mean, I am going to be getting some new lights for this tank anyway, so it should be fine for now. It should be okay because the coral in there is doing great. But yeah, it's just something I wanted to add just to sort of try and see if it would survive. It was only a cheap frag, so I thought I'd give it a go. All my parameters for the tank are absolutely spot on anyway, so I don't think it should be a problem. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to open these bags up, pour the contents into these little trays. Now I have rinsed these underwater just to make sure there's no chemicals or anything like that in them. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pour some water into this tub. Be careful not to get all over the floor. I'm going to sort of fill it up 3/4 of the way because I'm going to be adding water to this just to help acclimate the coral. And the thing is, I don't want to add this water into my nano tank because it's a complete brand new system, and I don't want whatever's in this water, I don't want to go into that tank. So you're not really supposed to take corals out of the water, but it's literally going to be for a split second, and I'd rather sort of make sure my tank's nice and pristine than introducing something bad to it. So I'm just going to quickly pop that straight into the tub there. So that's going to sit in there for a minute while I can acclimate it. Then I'm going to do the same with this bag. I'm going to chuck the contents of that in there as well. It's all from the same place, same tank, so it's not like I'm mixing the water or anything. Now it'd probably be better for me to use a net for this, but I don't have a net to hand, so I'm just gonna use my hands for this. It's a little bit quicker to do it. And so in there you can see I've got a little fire shrimp, got some turbo snails. Got one turbo snail there, one turbo snail there. We've got a weird little snail. I can't remember what he called it, but I'll try and get a close up in a minute, but it's pretty cool. And I've just got these little polyp things that he chucked in as well. I don't really want them in the nano tank. I'm probably just going to chuck them in the 350 and let them do whatever they want to do. But yeah, I'm not entirely sure what they are. And I think he also gave me, there's like a little mushroom in there. I'll get a close up for all these in a second, but yeah, there's a little mix and match stuff to add in. Okay, so let me give you a quick view of what's actually in here. So here we've got our little fire shrimp. I love these guys, they're so cool. And this guy's actually got a little bit of purple on him, he's not actually full red, so that's quite cool. We've got two little turbo snails there. We've got this weird little guy down here. I'm not entirely sure what he is, but look at the colour on that shell, it's really weird. And then we've got sort of these little polyps here. I'm not sure what they are, to be honest. I have a clue. There's a little polyp there. This is a little brown mushrooms, another little polyps there. Again, I don't really have a clue what they are. They don't look anything crazy. When they were in the shops, they didn't look anything spectacular. And this has got a little bit of orange on it, but again, I don't have a clue what they are. But I'll just chuck them in the big tank and see what happens. And then obviously we've got my my piece of coral here, so he's sunken in. They normally do. You can see it's sort of starting to come out a little bit, but yeah, he's going to be sunken in for the most part until I get him into the tank. So next thing I'm going to do now is get this into the tank, get it floating around, and I'll be sort of dripping some water in every now and again just to try and make sure that the salinity and everything is the same. Temperature should sort of heat up fairly quick as well, so get that floated, and sooner that's done, the sooner we can get it in. So I've got that floating around now. I've actually got the lights on night settings, so they're on the blues, just the blues, and that's just because I don't want to sort of try and shock the coral when anything that's going in there with a bright light. So I'm going to keep it on the blues. I'll probably keep it on that for most of the day, or probably for the whole day, and I won't turn it on properly till tomorrow morning. But yeah, I'm really excited to get these in. All I'm going to do is, while they're floating about and getting the temperature adjusted correctly, I'm just going to take a little cup and I'm just going to be pouring some water into it just to get that salinity exactly the same as mine. And then once I've done that for about 20-30 minutes, I'll then transfer everything into the main tank. I'm not too sure where I'm going to put any of the corals in here yet. They're all on plugs anyway, so I may have to somehow shave that plug off. I'll show you the plug. You can see there it's got the little stem at the bottom. That's the plug that it's been attached to. I'm going to have to get that off. I'll probably use some wire clip or something like that just to snap that off and then find somewhere to put it. But for now, I'm probably just going to lay the coral down. It shouldn't do any harm. Don't forget this background that I've made. If you watch my other videos, you know I've made all of that out of polystyrene, so I can make a little hole in that and then dig that plug into it if need be. Because this light is quite close to the sand bed, I think I might just plug that into the sand bed for now and then just monitor how it goes. If the polyps aren't coming out too much, or it is quite shrunken in, then I might have to move it to a different spot depending on how strong the light is. But to be honest, there's not much depth there, so I think it should be completely fine. So get this acclimated and then we'll see how it all looks in the tank. Also, what I've done, if you have seen my large tank, you know that I did have a little clownfish in there. I had two clownfish, put them both in at the same time, and for some reason one of them just didn't make it. I don't know why. These things happen at the end of the day. You can't guarantee that everything is going to survive. So the idea was to actually get these guys into this tank once this tank was ready. So I figured, I've got one fish in there, the stocking's not going to be too heavy in here anyway, and adding one extra fish isn't going to add too much to the bioload. So I luckily managed to catch him in this tub. I didn't have to use a net or anything because I don't have a clue what my net is, to be honest. I've not used a net in years. But yeah, so this little guy is going to be going in there as well, so we're just going to acclimate him exactly the same as everything else. And yeah, we'll have this little guy in here as well. He'll be a lot happier in there. He can find a little spot that he can find his own. We'll be getting him a little special coral just for him that he can actually sort of inhabit and make his own, because obviously the big Reefer 350 is going to be a fish only reef eventually. The coral that's in there now, I will just probably leave it in there because at the end of the day it's all weed coral basically, what I call it. It's just, it grows like crazy. And if the fish want to eat it, that's completely fine. I'm not too bothered, but it just makes it look a little bit more natural. But yeah, this guy's going to be joining the little nano tank as well, and eventually we will be getting a little friend. If you've seen the footage that I've shown at the beginning of this video, I do want to get quite a different peculiar, or not peculiar clown, but a special type of clown for him. There's so many types out there. There's the frostbite ones, there's that domino clown that I showed that's completely black with the orange nose. I really like that. If you watch my other videos and you watch my snake videos, then you know that I like the dark side. So I've got this little guy, but yeah, I'm tempted to get one of the jet black clowns. I'm not sure yet, but I'm going to have to just sort of shop around and see what I can find. Okay, so they've been sat in these tubs for quite a while now. You can see over here the turbo snail's trying to actually come out of the tub. I don't know if you can see it or not, but he actually started crawling up the side there. So it's time to get all these in. I think I'm going to go with the clownfish first. just because I think he was stressing out the most. So let's get him in there. Now obviously I don't want to mix this water that's in here with the water that's in the tank, so I don't have a net. I'm going to have to use my hand unfortunately, but it's going to be so quick that I don't think it'll really matter. So I'm going to get the camera set up on the side just so you can see him get released. And there we go, so they're all finally in. So we've got one of the turbo snails just there, the other turbo snail there, and whatever that snail is, I can't remember the name of it. If you do know, then let me know in the comments. But you can see we've got the little piece of GSP there, and that's just completely fine. I'm really happy about that tiny little piece next to it growing up. You can just see there, the camera won't really focus, but there's that tiny piece in the centre of the screen. But yeah, so they're all in there. Obviously we've got the clownfish over there. He seems to be happy. I will keep an eye on him to make sure that he's not panicking or anything like that, but to be honest I think he's going to be completely fine. We have got the coral over there. You can actually see this coral's only been there for a couple of seconds, like literally 30 seconds, and you can already see the polyps starting to come out on it, so that's a good sign. I'm happy with that. Again, I will keep an eye on this as well just to see how that's doing. And then down here we have our little shrimp. Yeah, he's gonna do really well in here, to be honest. There's loads for him that he can pick at, and I do feed this. I feed this tank every other day, but to be honest, that's going to be plenty for the stocking I've got in here, and I don't want to feed too heavy anyway. I do actually target feed on this tank with that little guy, the little green chromis I've got in here. I do just target feed him, so as soon as I feed with a syringe, he comes straight up to the syringe and he feeds straight from it. So that's probably what I'm going to do with all the fish in here, just so that I'm just not putting loads and loads of nutrients into water that's then just going to affect the nitrates and ammonia and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm really happy with the way it's looking. With this tank I'm going to take it quite slow just to try and build it up slowly. I don't want to make the burrow load too heavy at once, and the same with the corals. I don't want to put too many corals in at once, just to sort of, if they suck too much of the nutrients out of the water that way. So there's the little green mushroom. We've got one of those polyps just there. Really hard to record this and get it at the right angle. We've got another one of the polyps there, and then there's another one of those polyps just over here. Okay, so that's going to be the end of the video. I hope you've enjoyed watching. Everything I've done in this video I'm really happy with. The little sand grate that I made just to sort of rake through all the sand and stuff like that, just to get any debris out, and also just to give the sand a bit of a move about and clean anything out. I think that turned out really well, especially with my logo on it. I think it looks really cool, and that's pretty much spot on for what I wanted to. I just didn't want anything big and bulky to chuck in there, and it's just when I'm doing water changes I can give the sand a quick rake through and then just do a quick water change and scoop up anything that goes into the water column. And stocking wise, I think the stocking's absolutely perfect for what the size of the tank is at the moment. I do want to get 2 or 3 more fish for it, but they are going to be small fish. The green chromis I've got in there, that will be coming out eventually and going into the big tank. I'll get a couple of others to go in because they are shoalfish, so it'll just make him a little bit happier in there. But I think the coral's going to do fine. I think the light I've got on there at the minute is just enough to keep that coral going. While it was on there, the polyps were extending out even while it was on blue, so I'm guessing that's a good sign. And the shrimp that I've got in there as well, he seems to be cleaning and having a good rummage through everything. The snails are going absolutely crazy on that rock, eating all the hair algae, so I think they're going to do absolutely fine in there as well. All my water parameters are completely fine. If anything, they're better than what the larger tank is. Basically, it's such a pristine tank that you'd expect it to be a little bit better. So everything's gone really well in this video. I'm really happy with it. I will be doing some more modifications to the sump as well, so make sure you are subscribed so you don't miss those. I've got to change a few things on the skimmer in there just because it's the cut fills up a little bit too quick for me, so I need to make a little thing that drains that out a little bit quicker. I want to put some media in there, so I'm going to 3D print a media basket to put in there, and also I want to put a tiny refugium, nothing big, just a small little refugium, just so I can get some copepods in there, because I do plan on having a fish in the tank that will probably feed dominantly on them, so it's important I try and get a colony of those going in the sump that will get sucked up into the main tank for that to feed on. So make sure you subscribe so you don't want to miss this little mini tank. We've got our first coral in there, and that's just one of many. It's going to be absolutely loaded with coral that you're probably not even going to be able to see the fish that are in there, but I don't care, it's going to look absolutely amazing. So I hope you enjoyed watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Little guy going, loving it.